What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friend. And I got a humdinger right here. Something I want to discuss with you guys. It seems that the NAACP, yes, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, that means you, Negro, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, has issued a travel advisory against Florida. They don't want black people, or African Americans as they call it, to be going to Florida. It seems that the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People has decided that Florida is hostile towards black people, and so they have issued a formal warning to black people everywhere to stay out of Florida. Now, what is this about? Let's talk about it, guys, because I just saw this, and for reasons I believe that this is hilarious. But those reasons I will get into in a minute. I'm sure you guys will guess the punchline before I even come to it. But here we have this article in thehill.com, and the headline goes a little something like this. Hit it! The NAACP issues travel warning in Florida. The state has become hostile to black Americans. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People issued a formal travel advisory for Florida on Saturday, saying that the state has become hostile to black Americans under Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' leadership. Here we go. On a seeming quest to silence African American voices, the governor and the state of Florida have shown that African Americans are not welcome in the state of Florida. The travel advisory reads, I know there are a lot of African Americans in Florida. Sound off in the comment section, won't you? Let me know what your experience has been. Are you indeed feeling unwelcome in your home? Some of you have been there for generations. Let me know what you think of Ron DeSantis. Do you feel like you're in danger? Tell a brother. It says here, due to this sustained, blatant, relentless, and systemic attack on democracy and civil rights, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People hereby issues a travel advisory to African Americans and other people of color, there you go, regarding the hostility towards African Americans in Florida. The group added, the advisory points to several of DeSantis' controversial policies, including legislation he signed on Monday to prohibit colleges from spending public funds on diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. The Florida governor also previously signed the Stop Woke Act, restricting how workplaces and schools can discuss race during required training or instruction, and blocked an advanced placement African American studies course in the state's public schools, claiming it lacked educational value. Yes, the public schools. We love the public schools, don't we? They're doing so great. If only DeSantis would keep his nose out of the public schools, they would be soaring to unknown heights. They are the institutions of virtue and in all types of incredibleness, aren't they? Let me be clear. Failing to teach an accurate representation of the horrors and inequities that black Americans have faced and continue to face is a disservice to all students and a dereliction of duty to all, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People President and CEO Derek Johnson said in a statement. Under the leadership of Governor DeSantis, the state of Florida has become hostile to black Americans and in direct conflict with the democratic ideals that our union was founded upon, Johnson said. Oh, well, there you go. There it is, Derek Johnson. Now, of course, Derek Johnson said nothing when you're warning black Americans about hostile environments. He says nothing about the state of the hoods that's in America. He says nothing about Chicago. He says nothing about all of the ghettos around the country that are hostile. When you want to talk about hostility, all right, this isn't a deflection, guys, but we're talking about him and this group, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. This group has decided to become triggered about the curriculum. Now, if you look into the curriculum that they're trying to push, you will find that it's more representative of the interests of gay people than it is of black people. Because I dare say that black studies, African American studies, have always been in school. It's always been in books. It's something that, number one, you should teach in your homes. And not only that, but you should believe in the values of uplifting your children. Okay? Take a look around. Do you see that in abundance? Or do you see in these hoods specifically that these kids are wanting and lacking in that very area? You should be boycotting your own homes as hostile towards African Americans. Nobody is more hostile towards African Americans than some African Americans. I said some African Americans before some of you get your panties in a bunch. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about your family. But you would be dishonest if you would tell me that self-love has not been our primary and number one challenge in the black community. Before you look outward, you have to look inward. Okay? So what are we seeing when we look inward? Are we seeing that we believe that we are victims, that we are unsafe? Black Lives Matter, anyone marching in the streets trying to plead to the world, please value our lives. Please believe us while we abort our children at unparalleled rates than other people in other communities. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. I don't see any warnings about that. I don't see any hostility warnings about that. Also, you know what is in Florida, by the way? All right. While you're saying that DeSantis, and this isn't political, but while you're saying that DeSantis is standing in the way of African Americans and is hostile, did you know that Florida has a black surgeon general? A black surgeon general. What's his name? His name is Joseph Ladapo. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Joseph Ladapo. Interesting. That name rings a bell. He was in the news not too long ago because he was trying to warn people about the jab. What's that he said? He's trying to warn people about the jab. All right. So you don't see the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People talking about that. As a matter of fact, when you go on the website, all you see is them telling you, get the jab. Go for it, brother. Go for it. I know people personally who have been hurt by that jab. Okay. Oh, you can't prove it because nobody's looking. But these are people who used to laugh at me when I talked about the jab, much in the same way that some of you are laughing at me right now. But they came to me since then and said, I believe that I've been vaccine injured. And it doesn't make me feel good. It breaks my heart. A couple of them are very, very close to me and they're worried about themselves and I'm worried about them and it breaks my heart. Okay. But the point is, while they claim to be so worried about hostility towards black Americans, hostility towards African Americans, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People are standing by in silence while their people are suffering from something that they don't want to acknowledge. As a matter of fact, they're pushing it on their website, like I said before. So excuse me if you lose all credibility with me. You've got no cred with me, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Why do you keep saying it like that, Mark? Why are you not just saying NAACP? Because I want people to understand colored people, okay? They're outdated. They are outdated. And that's what I'm saying. Historically, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People wasn't even founded by so-called black people, African Americans. They were founded by white people and mixed breed people, mulattoes, if you will. That's just a fact. All right. So when you see something like this, I have to call bullshit because usually when the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, go against you, it's because you didn't grease their palms. They're looking for money. They're looking for money for themselves. Grifters, just like Black Lives Matter, just like everybody else. Aren't we tired by now of these people making money off of our asses? Our victims, our victimized asses, our marginalized asses. Aren't we tired of that? Aren't we tired of being bent over every time somebody else has got an agenda that's going to advance their agenda, but not ours? All right? Like I said, when you look into this African American advanced placement thing, you're going to find a bunch of freaking gay, lesbian, trans stuff. That's what you're going to find in there, just the same as you did with Black Lives Matter. They're against the patriarchy. They're against the traditional family. That's just the way it is. It's about time we took a step back and started looking at what's really good for us. What's really good for our children. But we're letting these people weaponize us, and they're embarrassing us because every time they crack the whip, we jump up and say, oh, that's right, we're going to fight with you. We're offended. You ever hear of the school board? Go to a meeting every now and then. How many of you go to a meeting? You can affect curriculum that way. How many of you have met your students, your kids' teachers? How many of you have done that? How plugged in are you to your larger community? How many of you vote? Well, let me not go there. You guys know how I feel about that ultimately. But it's a valid question. How many of you are plugged in? All right. So I just wanted to point that out to you guys because I thought that it was hilarious. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People want to warn black people about staying out of hostile environments. That's rich. That's rich. But anyway, guys, you can get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about this. I know a lot of you are going to come and bomb me out, but that's okay. Because even that, you're playing into my larger plan because I want to show you to you. This is the condition that we're in. So have at it. If you want to call me a coon, if you want to do all of that good stuff, come on, baby, come on, baby, come on. All you're doing is fueling me, number one. Some of you thought I was gone for a while and I was going to go away. No, sometimes I just have to take care of business. But like a boomerang, I come right back, man. Whether you catch me or whether I hit you in the face, I'll be back. That's the way it always is. And every time I go away, I take a piece of your ass with me. All right, guys, let me stop. I'm going to get up out of here. Let me know how you feel about all of this in the comment section, guys. Maybe I'll leave the article there too, the BS article. Thanks for listening. I will catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.